Would you like fries with that? No.
What?
Paper or plastic? I don't know. I'm just trying to think of things that people say in stores. Oh, your card's upside down. Your chip's upside down.
Sir, you have to pay for that. Let's just get too much of them. All right.
Sir, this is a Wendy's. Why do churches have stores in them, or some of them? We'll find out. It's the Why Do Christians podcast. Hey, welcome to the show. My name is Mark Dickey. I host the afternoon show on the Bridge radio station. My co-hosts are two pastors. Pastor Burt. Say hi, Burt.
Hi.
Say hi, Josh. Oh, hi, sorry. And Pastor Josh. Say hi, Josh.
Hi. I'm here too. I'm at the store shopping.
Oh, yeah?
No plans to pay, but let's go for it.
Man.
Oh.
Okay. Church stores should give everything out for free.
What are we talking about, gentlemen?
Right?
All right.
What?
Church stores. I should be able to walk into a church, go to the store, and just take something and have it for free. Makes sense.
Okay.
Right? Doesn't it?
I think actually if you walk into the church store without a cloak and you see a cloak and you ask for it, Scripture says we should give the man who doesn't have a cloak.
Hold on. Can I ask a question? Do church stores have anti-theft policies? Is that a thing that like they've articulated on paper? Here's how we respond to somebody stealing a T-shirt or a Bible.
That's a good question. I've never thought about stealing from a church store, but now.
Well, who else had either? But you put it in their heads on the beginning of this episode. Man, I don't need any more coffee mugs, but maybe I do with this church's logo on it. Let me just get that.
I love how this is possibly somebody's first episode, and like Josh is just a thief.
That's right. Encouraging crime.
All right, so how long have church stores been a thing?
I don't know.
Ooh.
In my mind, it's, I don't know, maybe 2005, 2010-ish, but then again, that's when I was becoming more aware of churches in general. I'm sure there have been large churches that have had merchandise, for a long time.
I mean, you look, they were doing it in the temple, so you imagine this is the idea.
Oh, we're going to that. We're going to talk about the temple.
Okay, good.
Well,
I'm like,
if a quick internet search is to be believed,
yes.
The first 4 centuries of the church, there were no church stores because they were barely in church buildings because they were under immense persecution, right? Well, that would be the first 3 centuries. In the 4th century, that changes. In the 5th century through the 15th century, you do see a rise of churches and monasteries that might have, for lack of a better phrase, gift shops to sustain their works. They might sell candles or manuscripts or icons or stuff like that.
One of the monks had a cricket machine.
Sure, that's right. That's right. Faster, Jerome. We need these things. Okay, but just as an important distinction, this is not something that has been created with the avenue of the modern mega church or whatever people would tend to associate, like, oh, big. So there's this bookstore in the church. That's actually not true. It's been around for as long as churches have been public.
So people have sold things in churches. Okay.
Yeah.
So how about we start here?
Well, let's.
Church memorabilia, or you go to a
What
church,
kind?
It's got a logo.
Like a ride photo? Like, you're like
here's you with your hands up.
Yeah, like during worship? Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Here's you reacting to the pastor's sermon?
Could that be a thing? It's like the roller coaster thing, but it's you with
as you're leaving, you're looking.
Worship face.
I'm number 3. I'll take that. $30. $30. Okay. All right. I'll take it.
It was that authentic of a moment.
Yeah. Right. It's an authentic moment. I was crying. This is just terrible.
Okay. Dark line.
And you got the guys in church who bring like video game systems, like, oh, look at me on the ride photo. Like, people do the poses on the ride photos.
People get engaged in church photos and all that stuff. Okay.
Yeah. No. All right. So let's talk about like this. Church exists. Church has a logo. Church puts the logo on a T-shirt. T-shirt is for sale.
Okay.
In the lobby.
Yeah.
Yay or nay?
What's the nay?
Is that okay or not?
You tell me why it wouldn't be.
All right, Jesus.
No. Like, okay, I need more scenarios. Is it a thing where the T-shirt is made because the church is hurting financially? Is it the church is corrupt and they're trying to make a quick buck? Is it the T-shirts proceeds go to building a orphanage somewhere?
So why is the church for sale? I mean, why is the shirt? Why is the shirt? Why is the shirt for sale?
Yeah. Like what's the thought behind it? And then my question would be, is there something in the scripture that would dissuade said thought?
Okay.
I'm not aware of something that would be across the board, no sales whatsoever.
Okay. So reasons why it would be okay. If the shirt costs how much it costs to make. It costs the church $8 to make the shirt, and the shirt's for sale for $8.
No, if you how are they making a profit to give towards said thing?
Well, or if they were to make a profit to put the money towards the church or a ministry or.
Well, gosh, hold on. Like, let's dig to the heart of this for a second. Like, even as we say this, I don't know about you guys. I feel this thing in me that still just kind of goes like,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So my question is, what is it that's in? Like, what is it that I'm believing? Or that I think I know that makes me go, And the only thing I can think of is a bad interpretation of Jesus cleansing the temple.
Okay.
Like that's the only way I could look at it and be like, okay, this is wrong because here's where Jesus drives out money sellers. But that story has so much depth behind it. That's not purely what's going on there.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe we could talk about that today, but like, I can't think of another reason why I would be bothered by it. If we're not talking about a thing like a church is trying to profit off of people and make a buck, or let's say somebody like they're starving and they need that T-shirt because they don't really have a lot of clothing. I don't know of a church who sells stuff that wouldn't be like, all right, here, take the shirt.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about here? Like, what's the nature of it?
Yeah. I think, I mean, right off the bat, just going back to that scripture, they were money changers. They weren't with the church. So something unique about that story is that other people were showing up to sell their things in the church.
I don't know. That it could have been licensed by the temple leaders.
Is that a lesson on using the church to further your business?
I have thoughts there, but I'd be interested to hear Josh's because he winced just now. I don't know if he was on camera or not, but I glanced at him and he went like that. So I'd love to hear.
No. I'm just thinking about it all, about what happened. Like the first time I went into a church and I saw a store.
Yeah,
I had never seen anything like that before. It was a big bookstore. It was massive, and I thought, oh, cool. Like I can go take a book. And no, there was price tags on them. It's like, oh no, I can't just take, because I'd never seen it. I thought churches would give away church books. Makes sense. But it was like, no, you have to buy this. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I'm broke. So I just remember my initial thought was, well, what's the purpose behind this? And that might have been the problem, because I was as a person trying to evaluate what an entire church was thinking, was doing. Were they out for greed? And that could have been that's not my place, right?
But you're not without precedent, right? Like, we have to acknowledge that in the 2,000-year history of Christianity, there has been corruption.
Yeah.
Not as a defining characteristic of the religion, but there have been times where people have been abused for the sake of money. Most notably, in my mind, would be one of the things that led into the Protestant Reformation, the sale of indulgences, which was buy this piece of paper to get your dead relative out of purgatory.
Right.
Very different from a T-shirt.
It's very different from a T-shirt, but some of us, look, if you come from an environment where perhaps you've been mistreated, if that's not dealt with, it is easy for you to view every place as another place that might be mistreating you. You know what I'm saying? Like it's very easy for somebody to read everything through a lens of trauma, even when that's incorrect to do. And so we want to be careful to not paint with a broad brush this, okay, people have done incorruption. So if there is money involved, it must be because their heart is after money or the church is corrupt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it could be also too, like the way I was raised. My church was anything like that, anything God related or Bible related, they would give to you. And so I came from that perspective, like, oh, like this is good for your soul. Take it, like, no, take this book. No, take this other thing. And so seeing a store was just such a shock to the way I was growing up that it made me question. Oh, what's the goal here? Is it to take advantage of me? And why wouldn't you give me things for free? But I think underlying that is a lot of problems.
Yeah, like for instance, like it cost them something to have the stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah. But let's we hang out, we travel every now and then. Like I think about like there's a church that we visited that had a bookstore, and you were talking with the pastor of it just about, hey, how'd you do this or that? And the pastor was like, oh, and he just ran and grabbed you one of his books that was on sale for free. Just take this. This will probably help you. So it isn't like necessarily like a guarantee if there's a store, there's a corruption or a desire to turn a profit.
Exactly. Yeah, I would say that too. And I think that says that we have to check our own hearts when we walk into churches and we see something that's new or different or uncomfortable, that we then don't assume, oh, there's some kind of ill will or ill intention behind it.
Yeah, I've noticed that. I've been in places where we've had hard conversations, and dialogue among brothers. By the way, I do think that we can disagree on this within even our own church context and still be brothers and our brothers and sisters. Like we don't have. This is not a faith defining or truth to God issue inherently. And there might be issues of sin if greed is involved or corruption, but it doesn't have to be. But I think about, conversations I've had in the past where somebody has been very anti, hey, this church is selling a t-shirt, or they're charging $5 for the Bibles that they've got there to offset the cost of what it costs them to get the Bibles. And the person's like, you can't sell. And my question when I push back would be, okay, like, where's that line stop? Like, is it wrong for the church if the youth group wants to have a bake sale to fund a missions trip? They're selling brownies, or is it wrong to do that? Usually the person will say no. But every now and then you get that one person, well, no, like they should just trust God with it. Okay.
Yeah, that's too much.
Right. But most of us would say that there are lines where it's okay to sell some stuff. And I feel like maybe what we should do, if you're watching this episode and you're hearing me say that, maybe the thing that you keep going back to is the Jesus cleansing the temple. Like, I don't know. Are you guys aware of any other passages that might lend to this idea of like churches, nothing for sale at church? I don't know.
I mean, I could think of misunderstanding of believing that money is the root of evil, and not understanding that the love of it is the actual root of all kinds of evil. Someone can then, anything that then involves exchanging of money in the church then is evil. Well, no, that's not the case. But what I tend to think of is when Christ talks about how the world handles money so well when they have their goals and intentions, but his own people sometimes struggle with that. And I tend to think that, it's perfectly fine when it's appropriate, but I would love to talk about when it's not appropriate.
Well, okay. I'll pin in that. Let's do that. But
you just gave me a thought of thinking about like, should a church t-shirt be free, or like, is it okay for it to cost money? If it were free, then that would mean that you taking that shirt is actually taking money
from the church.
not from the church, but from the widow, from the orphan.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So wouldn't it actually be better if the church could just continue doing their ministry with the tithes and offerings that come into the church, and hey, this extra thing that is not blessing anybody, or it might if the money goes towards something, if the profit goes towards something, wouldn't it be better if the $10 or $20 came out of your pocket instead of the church's pocket?
I think
it actually keeps the ministry clean. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah. Gosh. I think that is a very, very optimistic scenario that could and should be aspired for. I think a part of it that might leave out. Let's go to branding for a second here.
Yeah.
And I don't say this to defend, like, we don't have a shop in our church. We don't have anything for sale. But like the Bibles that we have, we give away. Somebody wants a t-shirt, they can have it. Some people, so I'm not saying this from like a defensive posture of like, let me tell you why but some people also love their church and they want to get the word out.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and it's not an immaturity thing of like, it doesn't have to be an immaturity thing of like, well, it should be about Jesus and Jesus alone, not a specific church. Well, I agree that that Christ alone saves. However, we do life together in churches.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you found a good thing there and you want to share that with others to be in community and discipleship together, I don't think it's wrong to, hey, what are means that I can get the word out? You know, I'm wearing a shirt when I'm out and about. I'm wearing a hat, or I'm wearing a hoodie, or
you're advertising something most of the time.
Yeah.
Why not your church?
Yeah. And I think some people, that's why they buy their t-shirts. Hey, I love this place. And I want to make sure that even when I'm out and about, I'm in the park. And, you know, I think of, actually in our church, I can think of a couple times it's happened where we've had people who got t-shirts from us. They were out and about at like a community gathering in the park, and people would saw them. They're like, oh, that's a young family with kids that are my kids' age, and they're part of such and such church. Let me see if maybe I'm looking for somewhere where my kids can be invested in. So I think there is an evangelistic possibility and element to it.
Mm-hmm.
I would just really quick, I've referenced it twice. I just really want to fast get to this idea of why Jesus turning over the tables in the temple is a bad application for whether or not we should have merch in church or a church bookstore. If I could, like, this is Matthew or Mark's retelling of it. Like, Jesus quotes this verse where he says, like, when he does it, he says, "It's written, my house shall be a house of prayer for all nations, but you've made it a den of robbers." And what he's referencing there when he says it is written, he's quoting Isaiah 56 verses 4-8, where God is telling the prophet, like, hey, listen, I'm going to bring people from all over the world, like Jew, but also Gentile, into my house. I'm going to create a relationship with me for these people. And so he says, and I'll just read verses 6 and 7, and the foreigners who join themselves to the Lord to minister to him, to love the name of the Lord, and to be his servants, everyone who keeps the Sabbath and does not profane it and holds fast my covenant, these I will bring to my holy mountain and make them joyful in my house of prayer. Okay. Their burnt offerings and their sacrifices will be accepted on my altar. And here's the line: for my house shall be called a house of prayer for all peoples. And what you see happening in the story where Jesus is, why he quotes that, because where he is in the temple is you got these money changers in the place where it should be a place, the only actually place where Gentiles and women can go to pray and seek God. And the Sanhedrin, the religious leaders, knew that. They knew that prophecy from Isaiah, but because the people who would be there weren't Jewish men, they weren't a priority to them. So imagine, like, this is a different covenant. There's only one place on the planet you can go and meet with God. It's not the Holy Spirit occupies believers yet. This is where you go. And that whole place is overrun with animal noises and people giving and selling money. Like, there's no space for solitude and reverence and prayer. You know, like, God, I seek you, and right. I mean, like, there's no, you know, pigeons, get your pigeons here, right? Like it's been overrun because those who should be being drawn to God have been given no space. That's that passage. And so if the application was, you know, hey, I'm in church and somebody, like, while I'm trying to pray, somebody just goes, t-shirts, get your t-shirts here. Yeah, that's wrong. But the application of, hey, no money anywhere because of this verse, that's not a good application of this verse.
That's pretty solid.
I mean, yeah, 100% agree. I would say, yeah, there are good reasons to have stores and shops. One of the things I thought about when I did go to that church and saw the store was, and I actually spoke to someone. They're explaining, okay, for discipleship purposes, all these books are chosen specifically. for this. So since then, I've been to other churches where they didn't have a store, but they had a library. It was like you can come in, you could sit down. You couldn't buy the book, you couldn't leave with it, but you could sit and read any of these books. They would be wonderful for your spiritual life. I was like, oh, okay, yeah. I might actually want to buy one. but there are times though when I think it's not so good. When you're selling healing water.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Or I had someone want to ask me, hey, can I put a vending machine in your building?
Really?
Yeah, I know. It was
What kind?
like vending,
Okay, was it like
vending candy,
snacks, sodas, cupcakes? What
Yeah,
those
everything.
All right,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. I was like that I felt like was going to be your example while you're
like an
praying.
altar call. You just hear.
Exactly.
You hear paper ripping. Oh, somebody bought Skittles again.
Yeah. So I think at those things where it's like, oh, this is evil intention. This is a money grab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the other, the pastoral end. All right, let's use the bookstore as an example. Hey, we've actually carefully selected these books because we think they're good for you. Which, by the way, I think every church that has any kind of periodicals should do that. Like, we shouldn't just go, hey, something's in print, so let's sell it. Like, no, we're entrusted to the care and stewardship of people's souls. We want to make sure what they're being taught is good.
Yeah.
But all right, let me say it like this on the discipleship end. If there's a book that's available at the church, okay, now, and we can come up with exceptions to the rule, but just
Always. Yeah.
all right. If a book is handed to me that is free versus a book that I want to read and have paid my money for, which one am I more likely to read?
Oh yeah, totally.
It's the one I paid for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because personal investment creates ownership and more incentive to actually learn from the thing. All right. So in that instance, we would say paying for something actually is more likely to bring about good fruit and discipleship, right?
Solid.
Yeah.
That's the thing with Financial Peace University. It costs you $100 to learn how to use your money better.
But you'll show up to those meetings.
Exactly. So everyone's like, well, why does it cost money if it's going to save me money? It's like, well,
Okay, but also
and that's a business too.
Okay, but also to the generosity of the church. All right. I don't know a church that if a person's like, I am out of work, I really want this book, I can't pay the $15. I've never met the church leader who's going to say you can't have it. Okay. When it comes to Financial Peace University, I know this because this is where I was in life when I went through Financial Peace University. My wife and I were in school. We were working multiple jobs. Money was really, really tight, and they were offering it at our church, and it was $100 or whatever. We could not afford it. And so people in our church invested in us and gave us scholarships so we could be there.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And daggone it if we weren't there. All right. So it's not, I get very hesitant when people say, well, you can't charge. Well, no, sometimes charging actually is beneficial.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right, let me twist it a little bit. Not merch, but back to the vending machine. Food? Snack bars in churches?
Coffee bar?
I don't know. I mean, I can speak to ours. It's free. Mostly because I want people to be conscious when I preach. It's a joke, but yeah. No, but I don't know. They're like, I'm thinking of my friend's church. They've got a coffee bar, but it's not just coffee. They've got like espresso and pastry stuff that's expensive. But also, hey, so we understand how they operate. Everything that coffee bar makes goes towards building stuff for the future for the kingdom. So no, I don't think that's wrong. I don't think that's wrong to sell so that, hey, we can expand or we can start this ministry or we can build.
They're covering their costs and also
putting
them
correct. The pastor's not taking a percentage and being like, hey, like higher paycheck for me this week. Like, no, like they have this so they can do more stuff for Jesus, and I think that's fine.
Yeah. Okay. I know the concept of a bookstore really bothers people. Like, why is there a bookstore? Probably because there's like a history of, oh, buy my book, and that kind of being like this easy money kind of slimy, scammy thing. But I could see, I mean, Burt, the amount of times you've quoted Tim Keller or C.S. Lewis, like you've got these books where like you recommend them subconsciously all the time. Like I've read this and I gleaned something from it. And you don't have a bookstore in your church, but I could see the value in like, oh, these shaped me and they have my stamp of approval.
Sure.
Not the Oprah stamp of approval trying to sell books, but like if I were to recommend something, if you want to learn more about this, like I recommend this book. Now, I guess in 2025, it's just as easy to say, oh yeah, hop on Amazon. We don't have to keep it in the, we don't need to keep a whole section of our church for this, and you can have it in your door tomorrow.
Yeah. I mean, or gosh, there's I use a quote or something in the sermon. Hey, it's in this book. You throw the image of the book cover on screen. Sure. Yeah. That's where I learned that. Yeah.
Yeah. Even something that we're considering doing at my church is doing a little bookstore. I don't think there's going to be any cost to it. It's more like books you could rent, like you could take out for if you're a parent and you don't know how to teach your kids about the faith. So we're going to line up a bunch of books. Just be like, oh, just grab one, take it home, read it, and bring it back. And I guess there's no money involved in that, but even if there was, I guess the idea behind it still stays the same from what I've heard. Like it's not distracting. It's not for selfish gain. Right? Yeah. It's for the discipleship and building up of the body. So then an exchange of money there is not a bad thing. It's in a sense, I would say the scriptures say you should do that. Like if you are benefiting from someone spiritually, what is it for you to withhold basic like financial support for them?
The worker deserves their wages.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody spent the time, wrote a book. Somebody spent the time putting something together for you so that you could benefit from a bookstore. You could grow in your discipleship. Definitely give them money for that at minimum. At least that would help continue that for someone else behind you. Yeah.
Well, what I'm hearing after this whole conversation.
Sell water for miracles. Is that what you're hearing? No, that's not. Okay.
Josh, if I could take anything away from this, be the absolute worst application of anything that you've said today.
Not only are you wrong,
but all of us are. Yeah. Good reference.
What I'm hearing is stores are fine. Don't be greedy. What I'm hearing is a lot of things people complain about with churches, it's not the thing that's the problem. It's the heart behind why it exists.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like lunch stores are fine. It just kind of depends on what's going on with the store. There's no broad brush for it. Stores are not fine or unfine. That's not a word. Yeah. But no, that is kind of the bigger check. Hey, why am I bothered by this in the way that I am? And I would suggest, I think so many of us, guys, cynical, but also just inherently distrusting, issues perhaps with authority, issues perhaps with the establishment, assuming corruption at points. And it's not that corruption doesn't exist. Of course it does. But there's this verse in 1 Corinthians 13 where when Paul's describing love, he says, one of the things that he says about love, he says, love believes all things. The idea is not that love makes you a rube. The idea is that love makes you give someone the benefit of the doubt.
Always trusts.
Yeah. Hey, I'm not going to assume that there's a corrupt intention behind what you're doing. And my question would be if that's where you are, if you just find yourself just, here's this other place, and here's this other place, and you talk to them, and that's actually not why they're doing it, but you still refuse to believe that's not why they're doing it, right? At what point do you go self-examination and go Lord, what's going on here in me? What's going on with my heart where I'm looking for offense? where I'm looking for disagreement, where I have to have some high ground or stone
I was
to throw.
right.
Yeah, no, I'm agreeing with you. Like, yeah. See, you're saying right now, yeah. Yeah, or hey, is there an issue where I was hurt by somebody? Is there an issue where, hey, here's one that we don't talk about. Is there jealousy? Okay. We don't really talk about churches being jealous, or like Christians being jealous of other Christians, or churches being jealous of other churches. But that's totally a thing where if another church is doing well, I've seen this happen so many times. Another church is doing well. And so the assumption from a church who's jealous is they must be corrupt in some way for them to be doing well.
Yeah.
No, bro, not necessarily. That look at your own heart right now. What's going on? And so I would just, if you have this sort of reoccurring posture of offense, that's definitely not Protestant, first of all, because the Reformers were trying to help and fix, and they didn't leave the church; they were thrown out of it. But and also with a lot of prayer, trepidation, and patience. But number two, it's definitely not scriptural. Like, we are to seek unity, and we are to be slow to speak and quick to listen. Let me understand why you're doing what you're doing. I think we are lacking in that these days.
Well, I guess it's time to unveil our Why Do Christians merch.
Do we have some?
No.
Oh. I was hoping for a t-shirt with like Mark just going like, ha ha. Yeah. I'd wear it. I'd wear it everywhere, every day.
Hey, if you have an idea for Why Do Christians merch, let us know in the comments.
Oh no. Oh no.
Hey, we had a lot of fun, but I mean, we do take this very seriously, and it's easy to make jokes, but I mean, we want what's best for the church. We want people to see God and for Him to be glorified, and I hope that you gleaned that from from this conversation, that some ministries deem it necessary to have stores to sell things, and whether it's helping with branding or helping fund another mission or something like that.
Well, I'm sorry, just really one of the things too, I think it's important to realize, like in this over refining age, where it's just kind of like, let me find some hidden corruption or whatever. And I believe in exposing bad things with the truth, but like sometimes I think what happens to us in Christian bubbles when we're surrounded by only other Christians is we forget there actually is a world of darkness where people who are openly opposed to God, like hate Jesus, don't want people to be Christians. And I think it's important to realize that, like, a ministry trying to fund itself to further the kingdom of Jesus is not the same thing as a corrupt entity apart from Christ. So I want to make sure we don't forget that.
Yeah, that's really good, Burt. If you have ideas for future episodes, let us know at podcast@wearethebridge.org. Don't forget to subscribe and share the podcast with a friend. Thanks for listening.